Americans insist on calling it soccer? Why do they have such a problem calling it football? It's a game played with a ball that is struck with the foot. Hence, football.
Welcome to Soccerpedia, the newest soccer podcast. I'm your host, Kai Uchimura, also known as Coach Kai. This is the third episode of this podcast. So a question that was posed to me was, why do Americans call it soccer while universally the sport is called football? This has been a constant headache and debate among the pubs and sports bars of which is the correct term for the sport. Why do Americans call it soccer? Well, just like a lot of historical events, you can blame the British. Games that involve kicking, hitting, and throwing a ball have been around for thousands of years. But many of our modern sports starts to emerge in the 19th century, especially during the mid-1800s. Sports like baseball, American football, and soccer. Modern soccer was established in 1863 in England when schools came together with the creation of the term association football to help establish their rules and codes of the game. The word association was used to differentiate from another popular sport in England called rugby football, also known simply as rugby. From those two first words, rugby and association, they were two different games. Rugby was abbreviated to the word rugger, and out of the word association came soccer. They took the letters SOC from the middle of the word association and added an ER at the end of it. Apparently back in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, it was popular English slang to add the letters ER after some words, thus the origins of the word soccer. So, this nickname was brought over to the United States, and as the sport started to become popular, the word soccer has stuck. Interestingly enough, before the creation of the United States Soccer Federation, soccer in the United States was organized by regional levels with no governing body overlooking the regional leagues. The first non-league organizing body with the United States or in the country was called American Football Association, or the AFA, which was founded in 1884. The AFA tried to standardize rules for teams competing in New Jersey and Southern New York, but they had problems because they had issues trying to expand outside of the New England region, and over time there was another federation. Of course, it's now known as the United States Soccer Federation, was created, and they started to become more powerful and popular. And so the AFA was never really strong, and it was closed a few years later. According to University of Michigan professor Stefan Zemanski, the word soccer in Britain was used a lot and was interchangeable to the word football. And it was not until the 1980s when the term soccer started to decline in Britain as the sport started to become more standardized and popular in the United States, with the United States creating the North American Soccer League, which originally ran from 1967 to 1985, which saw a growth in popularity, with that league bringing in famous soccer stars like Pele, Franz Beckenbauer, Carlos Alberto, and Johan Cruyff, to name a few. As a result, many British people saw the word soccer started to become more Americanized and thus abandoned calling the sport soccer, and instead call it football, thus creating the divide between Americans calling the sport soccer while the vast majority of countries around the world calling it football. In my own opinion, who cares whether you call it soccer or football? We are all talking about the same sport. So let's just enjoy the existence of the beautiful game that millions of people around the world play. This was a relatively short podcast, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the content and want me to keep producing podcast episodes, just click the like and subscribe button, and also comment on any soccer topics you would like to see me cover in the future. Until next time.